Right now at 11, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump held their first presidential debate, and it was a fiery one. Nothing was off the table, from the economy to immigration to the war in Ukraine. And we have it all for you tonight. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gerald Owens.
And I'm Lena Tillett. The candidates clashed over the big issues, and the stakes could not be higher for both Trump and Harris with just 55 days to go until the November election. Let's get right to Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center with some of the big highlights tonight. Brian.
Lena, we are just getting some breaking news. The Washington Post is reporting that Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign does want a second debate with former President Donald Trump. You might recall originally that the former President Trump called for 3 debates. There is no official word on his response to this request for a second debate, but a Trump advisor told the Washington Post, quote, "Of course, they want to clean up," talking about the Harris campaign. Also, in the past 10 minutes, Governor Tim Walz, Minnesota governor, who is, of course, Kamala Harris's running mate, told ABC that Trump's performance, quote, "reminds you of an old man yelling at the clouds," end quote. So the spin is on after seeing that debate here for the past couple of hours on WRAL. Now, I'm going to show you some of the responses to some of the key issues that Americans are going to be facing when they go to the polls. Of course, the economy and abortion, 2 huge issues in this campaign. We're going to start with the candidates' responses about their economic plans. And you're going to hear first from Vice President Kamala Harris because the moderators first posed the question to her.
My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that. We're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world, and the tariff will be substantial in some cases.
Now let's hear what they had to say about abortion rights. This time we're going to hear first from former President Donald Trump because the moderators first posed the question to him.
But what I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states, and through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that.
When Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections of Roe v. Wade, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law.
As we take a live look at Philadelphia there at the National Constitution Center, I want to show you some interesting data from the New York Times. They timed how much time both candidates had to speak during that debate. You can see the Vice President Harris spoke for about 37.5 minutes. Former President Donald Trump spoke for just over 43 minutes. And these darker shades here indicate the time that, according to the New York Times, they were attacking their opponent. And you can see that Vice President Harris spent a few more minutes attacking former President Donald Trump there, according to the New York Times calculations. Stay with us. Coming up a little bit later, we are hearing from Governor Roy Cooper and Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson and their reactions to what they saw in tonight's debate.